Well, you can see Loner staying aggressive, controlling this Xel'Naga watchtower. I don't know if he's aware that Nexgenius, of course, sees his every move, which makes it very difficult for the Terran to get into position.
And it looks like Loner right now, he's throwing up 3 more barracks, getting his upgrades. Stim almost complete, concussive shells on the way, and Viking production starting. So we're seeing very similar units come out of these players as the previous game.
And wow, still no range upgrade for Nexgenius. That is so the problem of trying to get those Colossi too fast. You cannot afford the upgrades and making Colossi and units at the same time. So those Colossi are significantly weaker. And now that Loner sees that he can put a lot of pressure on his opponent, Nexgenius doesn't really have a good time to get that essential range upgrade. And in the meantime, Loner is throwing down 5 barracks in his base. Gigantic force outside the front and already starting to gear up with some more Vikings.
Now, without that Colossus range, this is just such a huge deal. They really win because you keep them behind the units. They don't have as much health as most units that cost that much, so you have to block them off with the other units. Now, it looks like he's about to move out, but if the more open the territory, the worse it's going to be for Nexgenius.
Terran is intimidated and now retreating.
I don't know if I like this at all. Oh no, and there's Leroy Jenkins making yet another cameo appearance. And it looks like Loner is pulling back. Does he have siege mode? No, he just has tanks to be able to deal a lot of damage. Oh, only just now started siege mode. What a weird twist to have these players right up in each other's faces with the start positions.
You know, these bases are so close, and as Tasteless was saying earlier, it's very hard to take a third base. I think that this game, especially with how slowly they took their third bases in the last games, we're going to see it end on 2 base. It's going to be a massive push from both sides. And if we take a quick look at the supply, very close right now. Nexgenius 123, Loner at 134.
Oh, nice snipe. Those Vikings are quite valuable. That's basically the anti-Colossus. And for the time being, Nexgenius seems to just be very comfortable on the map. I am really curious to see, though, when they're going to expand. They may even wait until they're about 170 supply before they get an expansion. Now, finally, that Observer dies. I think Loner's suddenly realizing why every one of his moves was being spotted back there.
And it looks like that range upgrade is just now finished for Nexgenius. That was really the big point of that push. Just needed time to get the upgrades forward. So necessary. And there's this tank sieged up too late. He is having an amazing arc. This is the space that Loner has been needing all game long, but there are just too many zealots. Oh no, Loner trying to pull back, but look at how huge the army of Nexgenius is. Another stim trying to pick off some more zealots, but really mainly trying to pull all of Nexgenius' units away from his own main.
This is not good for Loner. He needed to move out a little slower. He did have tanks with siege mode, which is kind of the Terran equivalent of the Colossus, but he sieged them as everything was running up. And as you see, his army is in shambles. Nexgenius has pulled far ahead here, 128 against 101 in supply. But if he attacks into the Terran, then things might not go as well as he wants.
So Loner knows he needs every little advantage he can get doing some good kiting against those zealots to try to pick them off.
We see he is moving in right now. Nexgenius looks like he does want to try to go for the kill.
Loner's gonna have to pull in from all sides. There's the stim, and all the SCVs off mining as well, trying to do damage. The Zealots are just ripping through the Marauders at the front. The Vikings do manage to take out 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus falls, but will he have enough infantry to be able to clean up the ground gateway units? What really make those Colossi work? The last Colossus is down, but there's a huge gateway army right outside the front of Loner's base. The Vikings land, trying to clean up. Can he produce enough units in time?
I don't think so.
He's basically dead. He just hasn't left the game yet. I mean, yes, no SCV's mining here, just a mule.
Yeah, lost too much economy there, even though he ended up killing most of that.
There's the good GG. Wow, 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's looking quite close right now.
I mean, this is 3 wins in a row for Nexgenius against Loner, and this is the worst mental state to be in as Loner. You came in with a lead in the best of 3s, you lost 2, and then had a convincing loss in the first game. He really needs to buckle down and begin being a little more aggressive if he wants to win.
Yeah, you know, Loner, he's playing some great games, but you know, you think he should be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think he should be a little bit slower. Those siege tanks just running out into the middle of the map to siege,
well,
that is not good, man. He needs to just take his time, make sure his units are in the right positions. When he has siege tanks and Vikings, there's no excuse for losing to Colossus.
That is true, absolutely. If you have any siege tanks in your army, one of the most important techniques is just knowing when to siege them and where, because too often, like in that last game, you don't want to be in the spot where you go, oh, wait a minute, I'm in a battle, I should siege up. And then he lost all his tanks. In these other games where he has more Marines and Marauders, though, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on how passive he's been.
Yeah, you know, if you have Marines and Marauders, you have to be aggressive and reduce the size of the Protoss army. If you can reduce the gateway units, then the Colossus are not going to be nearly as strong.
Absolutely.
If you reduce the Colossus, the gateway units aren't nearly as strong. The Protoss really needs to focus on his unit composition. So if Loner can go ahead and be more aggressive with those early units, then maybe he can get the edge he needs to take a win.